2 years ago, I set off to travel the world. Along the way, I found my passion of meeting and talking with like-minded people. I realized that I had a story to share, but my story was a bit different from the rest. There were voices all across the world waiting to be heard, they just needed an ear to listen. Each episode in this series takes an inside look at the lives and stories from transgender people. This is Transphere with Riley Long. This week I spoke with Jason, a trans man from Milan, Italy. Milan is located in the northwestern side of Italy, close to the borders of Switzerland and France. As you may know, Italy is the home of the Pope and Roman Catholicism. 90% of Italians are Catholics, with about one-third of those actively practicing. Western Europe on the whole is known to be pretty open to the LGBT community, but Italy seems to lag far behind. Civil unions have been recognized in Italy since 2016, but there is no marriage equality or recognition of marriages between same-sex partners, which take place out of Italy. According to Italy's Minister of Families and Disabilities, Lorenzo Fontana, rainbow families don't exist at this moment as far as the law is concerned. When we look at gender, transgender people have a difficult time as well. Since 2016, trans people can now change their gender markers without requiring surgery, making transitioning much easier. But 81% of trans people report feeling victimized because of their identity. This is true in the workplace, where nearly half of trans people experience workplace discrimination, and a quarter lose their jobs after coming out. Between 2008 and 2016, the Trans Murder Monitoring Project recorded 30 trans people being murdered in Italy, compared to only 8 in the UK and 5 in France. We now will listen to the interview with Jason. So I've just got, what is it like living as a trans person in Italy?
Well, living as a trans person in Italy, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, depends. For example, if you are out and you doing like the transition, sometimes it's like very heavy because people are like very judgy, are very harsh on you. But on the other hand, Italy is pretty free country. I mean, you can do what you want, but there is a big potential that you're getting criticized.
Do you think it would be like similar to like the US and Canada, or a little bit further behind, or
I think it's a little bit behind because I think all of this comes from like origins. You know that in Italy it's a religious country, Catholic, and mostly there is the Pope. So it's like since ages there is this very very controversial feelings like religion and sexual orientation and gender identity. But mostly, yeah, it's quite open in general.
okay, so what kind of resources do you have in your community? Do you have like different groups or
Mhm.
anything to that sort?
Yeah, we are lucky because like in the biggest cities, like right now I'm living in Milan, and here there are different various groups like associations. I don't know how to say like associations, and they are very very supportive, very friendly, and they have like a safe space whether you want to just talk about your transition or your life, and then they also help you like with the process. For example, me, I started the whole process last year, last September, and I went to this group, and they addressed me to the psychiatric and to the endocrinologist. So they're really um, prac- practice. I mean, they're very concrete. It's not just to talk.
Are you personally out to your family then in your community?
Well, I started my social transition last year while I was studying photography at a private school, and I had a really, really positive response from my ex classmates and my teachers. But at the moment, I mean, in that moment, I wasn't out to my family, so I was very, very, I was in the closet basically. and
Yeah.
like after a few months last year, like in November, I came out only to my father because I think it was the worst part to me, and he handled it pretty well mostly. And then like last I mean, recently I came out to all my family, so I say I do this for once, and we don't talk about it anymore. Like since my uncle and my grandma, they are old and the old generation. Of course, they don't understand all of it, but of course they are very. I mean, they still love me, and they are trying to do some effort to call my name or just the he/him pronouns. So it's hard, but I can understand, because I'm 21. So for all these years they've called me with my birth name and she her pronouns. So I can understand it's hard, but you know I'm it's a situation where you have to be patient, and you have to just believe that one day everything is gonna be fine. So I'm out now. It's 2018. I'm out to everybody, and it's quite good. I mean, personally, I'm out like if it's really necessary. For example, at work. Right now, I'm not out just because it's not really necessary. But I mean, I'm not ashamed of myself. I am transgender. I mean, there's no problem with that. But if it's not really needed, I don't tell it. But for example, June, I went to the local pride, and I was there. I was very active, and I took photos because I'm a photographer. So I think I invest my art into our community, our LGBT community, because I'm really, really supportive, and I try to do my best, but in my way. I don't know how to explain this. So yeah. So maybe I don't know if I answered your question. Sorry, I don't know. So
No, you did answer the question for sure, and I think you have a really good outlook on, these are my pronouns, but I'll be patient and wait for people because I think it takes, someone who's been out for a while to be like that because I have a similar outlook. At first, I would get so mad
mhm.
anytime someone misgendered me, and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna spend like the next few years, potentially the rest of my life, being pissed, and I'm not gonna go through this because it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Yeah, you can't, like die for them. So.
But could you tell me the process for like accessing medical transition?
So in Italy, it's quite long because the first step you have to start therapy, whether it's a psychologist or psychiatric, and then after amount of time, it's very very personal. Of course, not everybody have the same time. The doctor give you the I don't know. It's a paper where it says that they diagnose you with gender dysphoria. So after that, you go to the endocrinologist, you do some tests, some medical tests, and then you can start a medical transition. And I mean, for me personally, it was like I started therapy last September, and I started hormone therapy March 2018. So like 6 7 months of therapy, like psychological therapy. But for people, everybody's different. But in Italy, also you have to wait until you are 1 year on testosterone. In our case, FTM people, because they say that if you go in a court like a few months and you don't look like the sex you want to change, they don't want to make you change. So you have to wait this year, I mean 1 year, and then start with all the technical stuff like a lawyer and all those stuff. So you take another year, then you go there, wait months, they say yes. It's very very long. Like I think like at least 2 years until you have your gender mark and your name change. Because Italian constitution is very very low, and they are very bureaucratic things. Like you have to wait a lot for one paper. So yeah, it's not easy from this point of view.
Okay, so you said you have to be like a year on T to get your name and your gender marker changed.
Yeah, because they think you have to look a certain aspect. You're very male or very female. You have to be in a box in a standard. So it's very
Yeah.
restrictive, mostly for non-binary people, I think. Because for me, I mean, it's not a problem because I'm binary, so I'm a trans masculine person. So okay, but it's very restrictive, I think. It's very personal to the judge, but I think it's not fair because this is our life. It's our. I mean, it's not a game. It's not. We need this new name, this gender marker change. They don't understand in Italy. It's like this. Yeah, very
Feel
very.
like it's a choice or something, is that?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, when I was coming out at that time, to people like ex high school mates, or people that are not very important to me, but I wanted to tell them because just I felt to do it. And they were like, oh, so you choose this, oh, why you did this, such a brave choice, wow. No. i mean I'm it's not a choice, because if I was saying this, if I could choose, I would choose to reborn as male directly. I wouldn't pain of this. But they just sometimes they don't understand it. They think it's just a choice, but no, it's like a necessity, it's a need.
What would be like the requirements if you wanted to get like top or bottom surgery? Do you have to have those stay on T for so long, or do you have
You're
to
right. Yeah, I forgot
get
to
the
mention.
letters?
Yeah. Right. Sorry, I forgot to mention that after they say yes, with that yes, it's included the gender mark change, the name, and also the consent to the surgeries. So only after you have this paper that say you are uh, uh, eligible for change and surgeries. You wait. You have two options. First, you pay and go private, and you wait 1 minute, and then you go surgery. Or if you have, there is, we are lucky from a side, because in Italy there is the free sanitary system. Instead, in USA you have all like private. It's not a very public system. So we have public system, and if we want some surgery or something free, we have to wait. So of course, the top surgeries, depends which city, but at least it's 1 year. But it's free, at least.
One a
Yeah,
year.
yeah, it's free. So, but you have to wait. Of course, it's okay, but it's free because, for example, usually top surgery is like 6,000 euro. I don't know. It's like maybe 7,000 USD dollars. I don't know, more or less. So yeah, it's free. So you wait 1 year. It depends which city. But yeah, because the really good point on Italy is that there is a very good sanitary system, but you have to wait, of course. But yeah, we can't um, complain that. So yeah,
Yeah, I guess it's good, but I'm just thinking like one a year.
because
Would I
the
have top surgery by the time I'm like 65 or something?
yeah, oh my God.
How would you say like you're treated as a trans person like in the public?
So, as I say, depends because, for example, lately, I mean, I'm 9 months on T, and lately I've been passing way a lot more. So, for example, if I go out and just walk on the street or go to a public place like a bar or a restaurant, is okay because I pass and there's no problem. But for example, if I go to the post office or institution with all the documents, it's very hard because people in Italy, I say in Italy, they are not ready. I mean, they are not schooled. I mean, they are not trained. They are not trained. For example, every time I go to do the blood test for a therapy, it's a lot of mess because they can't deal with transgender people. They don't care. Even if you tell them, they just keep telling you, calling you by your birth name or your wrong pronouns. They are not very. I think they are not doing it with bad intention, but just because they are not trained enough, like medical staff or public staff, like post office. They are not trained. So it's very hurtful mostly for a person like it's a lot of time on therapy, maybe okay, pretty, you can accept maybe. But if you see a man with a bird, I mean, not that I have a bird, but a bird, and you call with female pronouns, I mean, can't you see? So it's a little bit hard, but I think if there were more information, more like courses, I think it would be better, because transgender community, it's very small compared to the other communities. For example, it's a little small percentage in the whole world. Yeah, but I think if we all know something about what we are going through, I think it will be better for everybody.
I definitely agree. I think it's somewhat similar here. Like where I go at my clinic to get my hormones, a lot of times, and not so much anymore because I'm like 11 months on T, so I know what you mean. Like now my voice is kind of helping, but uh, getting misgendered a lot, and I haven't had my name legally changed, and them using that other name when I'm like, have told them so many times, but
uh,
um, yeah, it depends where you go. Some places are really good here. How do you think living as a trans person in Italy is different than the rest of the world? Or do you think it is any different?
for example, if I compare Italy to, I don't know, like UK, yeah, to UK, for example, it's pretty different because, since London, for example, is a very, very mixed city. Like there are a lot of different cultures, a lot of communities. It's very, very rich since from that point of view. But Italy, it's very like old school. I mean, even if there are LGBT communities and stuff like that, but I feel, I mean, I still smell like all the vibes. I don't explain. Even if you can change your sex, you can do everything in Italy, for example, but it's still heavy. I mean, it's like they make you feel guilty or something. They try to put bad vibes on you. I mean, not everybody, of course, but I am just talking about in general, of course. I mean, you can do everything, but it's like there is always a negative side. Like they are ready to make it hard for you. First of all, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity that you gave me. It's really, really important to me because I think I'm doing something small but at the same time big for my Italian community. Yes.
Yeah, well, no, thank you for doing it and being patient with my schedule.
Worry.
But no, I agree. It's great that getting the word out there, and I also just want to learn about experiences, so it's interesting for me. Yeah, I think that's all I have. So again, thank you for letting me have the opportunity to talk to you.
Perfect.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Good
Okay,
day.
have a you
Bye.
too. Okay,
Thanks.
bye.
Italy seems to be pretty progressive, but there is definitely room for improvement to make LGBT lives a lot more comfortable. I want to thank Jason for sharing his story with me and giving us more information about what it's like to be trans in Italy. If you would like to learn more, check out the links below. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.